that's most of what I want to get off today done, so another step closer. The only thing I want to do now is check to see the engine turns. The last time I knew the engine turned was when I took it out, which was years and years ago now. So it's a bit nerve-wracking to know, but I'm going to do it on camera here for you guys to see if it's going to turn. Fingers crossed. And that's exactly what I wanted to hear. So sorry for leaving you on a cliffhanger there. The engine, as you've seen, turns freely and it was a huge relief. In this video I'm going to be removing the cylinder head from the block. The stud that was here in the last video is now gone. I'll show you how I removed that here. The bolt. There's a few ways I could have tackled this. One, putting two nuts on, one on, then another on to lock it, then winding it off. The problem I had with that was the thread isn't too great here and the bolts were not going over this bit to get on here, so kind of ruled that out. As a last resort, I have a stud extractor there. I could have used that, but the method I chose at the moment, because it was the easiest, this was all cleaned up. I've been putting penetrating fluid on for days upon days. I've got some mole grips, locked it on, and day by day I've just been trying to move it slightly both ways. Penetrating fluid, movement, penetrating fluid, so on, and I'm now at the stage now where you can see there's a lot of free movement there. So this should come off now. Let's find out. There we go. You can see, hopefully on the camera, how bent that bolt is. So we're getting the cylinder head free from the block, and it's the first time I'm going to have a look in the cylinders and see what condition they're in. So as I see it, you will see it. Let's get started. The first thing that has to come off is the rocker cover, and that's straightforward. It's two bolts on the top here and they are 5/8. So this might wiggle off, might lift off, or it might need a little tap either side with a rubber mallet, which is exactly what Eleanor's going to need. A couple of taps, just like that. Just examining the rocker assembly here, the nuts at the back, 1, 2, 3, 4, they all look brand new, and so do the springs and the rocker assembly, so it does look like before I've owned Eleanor the parts have been renewed, which is a good sign. So before I undo any of these nuts, I've made up two templates on cardboard. One is this here, and it basically correlates to the sequence of the bolts, so that when I take them off I can place them each bolt where they've come off. The second is for the push rods, and this is to know what order they come off in. If I reuse any of these parts, they'll go into their corresponding places they came off, and by doing this I know exactly where they go. If I don't use them and use new ones, that's fine, but I would rather have this set in place, put to one side, kept safe, and then I can make that decision at a later date. Right, there's 9 nuts on this cylinder head and 4 nuts for the rocker assembly. These come off in a specific sequence, and the reasoning behind that is it lifts the load evenly, so that there's not any pressure or tension put on any specific parts of the head when it's coming off. The correct sequence is in the Haynes manual. I will put a diagram on here. So with that diagram you just seen, we work backwards, so I work from 9. So basically what it's doing is starting on the outside and spiraling its way in. And what it recommends is just to do half a turn at a time, just to evenly spread how it's coming off. So the 9 main bolts all use a 9/16 nut. The 4 here, 1, 2, 3, 4, are all 1/2 inch. So hit the time lapse. I'm going to work as I've just explained, get all these off, and I'll come back to you once all the bolts are loosened and off. What you might find some of the times, if these are a bit rough, you could clean them up, get these off the threads, but you might find the studs actually start unscrewing from down here. I'm not too concerned about that, because my plan is to get these studs off and get them replaced anyway with some new ones when they go back on. But what I will do is I'll put them in the bit of cardboard with the corresponding number that they come off. You can see they're pretty loose now. Most of them can just be undone by hand, and the tension's all been taken off it. So while they're all loose, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this rocker assembly here, the nuts off, and just get the rocker assembly lifted away first. Two studs. The studs actually look really new, which leads me to think this has been often rebuilt. Fingers crossed. Right, the rocker assembly should just lift up now. Might need to be wiggled slightly, just if there's been any dirt or grease in here. Just when you're lifting it off, be aware. The little washers. and the washer on the, whatever you want to call it, the third one here, has got a little lock tab on it. Right, will it come loose first time? Yeah, no problems. Go. Right, so next to come off are the push rods. 8 push rods at the back, which are going on this bit of card here. As they come out, they're going to be oily, so I'm going to clean them, otherwise the oil will soak in the cardboard, they'll get oil everywhere and it'll be pretty messy. And this is when we get to see if any of them are bent. You don't want a bent push rod. Hard to tell by the eye, but if you put it on a flat surface and roll it, you'll get an idea if it's bent. And there we have it. All the push rods. Put them to one side. I'm going to give this area here just a little clean up the oil so that when I do lift the cylinder head off I'm not dripping oil everywhere. Right, with all the bolts off, the rocker assembly off, the push rods out, the cylinder head is ready just to lift from the block. This can be tight, so you just get a pry bar under here. And that was a joke. I was actually wondering how many of you would be screaming at the computer or TV at the moment saying, no, no. You never do that. You never pry under here because you'll damage either the cylinder head or the block and you'll not get a clean mating surface. So, the way to get it off is to either rock it off. If it's still stuck, hit it with a mallet a few times, the same as I did with the rocker cover, until it breaks the seal and comes off. But yeah, never use one of them. Let's see how kind Eleanor's going to be to me. I'm confident I won't need a mallet. I wasn't confident, but I was hoping. There you go. So, quite nerve-wracking this because I've never seen inside here. This is the first time I'm going to see it. I'm hoping that by the condition of the top, inside's going to be just as good. I did get good compression tests when I done the compression test all those years ago. Here goes. So I have to say I'm really impressed with the condition of these bores. I don't know how well it's picking up on the camera there, but they're in really good condition inside. This lip here at the top is just grease and dirt. You can see even by rubbing it with my finger there, it comes off. So it'll need a good clean up, but what I'm witnessing here, I'm delighted with, I really am. So here's a closer look up. Lighting's not the greatest unfortunately, but it's given a I'll look at each of the cylinders before they're cleaned up as I'm seeing them as they've come off. So here we go, first look at the cylinder head. You can see it's quite a carbon build up, so it's obviously been running quite rich. I'll get these cleaned up and then I'll decide what to do in terms of buying or replacing new valves. At the end of the day, valves aren't expensive, but I'll get these cleaned up and then I can assess that then. But I'm quite pleased overall with the block and the cylinder head for the age of Eleanor and going into the unknown. Yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised. And there you have it, we'll end that one there. It's quite satisfying getting into this, digging in, finding it, and then whatever you find, knowing that you're going to bring it back to life. Yeah, I'll get all this cleaned up. I'll keep you updated in the next video how it's looking and through my Facebook group. So remember, www.facebook.com/groups/dbminidiy. If you go on there, you'll see photos of work as I'm going, not always photos that I bring to the videos. So jump on there, answer the questions, become a member and share your restorations and advice with me and everyone else on there. A lot of decent guys on there, girls and guys. So thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers!